At the beginning, I was trying to do what I was supposed to do, right? In quotes. I like Buffett, so I was trying to do it right. I spent my time trying to figure out what I was supposed to do rather than what worked for me or what might even be smart. I was almost like I was imitating trading. And, I'm buying something on sale, whatever. And, if you're imitating something, it's never going to be authentic and it's going to fail. Your first losing streak is going to knock you right out. The best 3 months of trading I ever had was in Forex. It was 2010, and it was May. I'll never forget. We called it the Mother's Day Massacre because it happened right around Mother's Day. That's what we call it. I'd been trading buy something on sale in Forex. Of course, there's no fair value is pretty sticky, right? There's no fundamental analysis, it's a lot harder. But I had a technical indicator, just a moving average, that I determined was fair value, and I'd wait for price to drop away, and I'd buy it back or get high above it and sell it back. And 3 months period, it's starting in May-ish, 2010, it was unbelievable. I didn't use a stop loss. If I got into trouble, I would just use my indicators and buy another position and get back in. And it was win after win after win. It was never ending winning. My trading partner, my girlfriend, my life partner, whatever, she would get up. She was in this with me. We'd both get up in the morning. We'd take some trades. I'd go in, I'd teach a lesson. She'd call me, I made another 1,000. And these were the glorious times. Made about $50,000, made $10,000 in a single trade. Everything was amazing. But it was actually that $10,000 trade that ended this glorious period. As it turns out, Etienne, we were trading too big. And the markets didn't give us any problems. So it was win, 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 over 50 wins in a row, $1,000 a day. We got into a trade that lasted 5 days. And it's the worst 5 days of my life that weren't, actual tragedy related, actually death of the family or anything like that. We didn't sleep. Imagine you're 2, 3 a.m. waiting to hear some indicator on your screen down the hall. Did it hit our target? Did it hit? What did it? I was a zombie. I'll never forget it. It was a Friday, Sunday gap. We had spent 5 days down 5,000, down 8,000, down 10,000. We're in like a $60,000 account. So, it's significant. It's getting worse. Friday, it had come back up. We're down like $3,000. Sunday, it gapped open. I was actually at the tennis club teaching a lesson at the time. Jill called me. She said, it just gapped in our favor and made $10,000. And my knees buckled literally. I was like rubbery and shaky because I knew we got lucky. I knew it. We were trading way too big. Way too big. And it gapped in our favor and it's fine. And that was really the moment I calmed down. We stopped doing that. And probably we shouldn't, but we should just come back in with smaller size. But we stopped that. And that's when I spent like a year studying. Again, too much study. And then I got into automated systems, and that was a turning point. So this led to the turning point. But automating systems, that was honestly the biggest turning point probably.
First of all, I'm a full-time trader. I've been trading full-time probably for about 11 or 12 years. I was able to make that leap from part-time trader that most of us start out doing to full-time trader because I had some success. I did some trading contests and I finished in first or second place 3 years in a row. And that kind of made me think, hey, I could do this for a living. And trading is what I really like to do. I have an engineering and business background, but I always loved trading. And so I was able to make that leap to full-time trading. I've been trading over 25 years or so. And in the beginning, I was just kind of searching for anything. So I was doing some, what I would call system trading, like moving average crossovers, real simple stuff. But I also looked at discretionary trading based on price action, that kind of thing. I looked at something called scale trading, which was basically as the price went down, you kept buying, and as it went up, you'd sell a little bit. I've done option selling, I've done spread trading, where you do things like buy July wheat, sell December wheat. I've tried tons of different things, things based on just big chart patterns, head and shoulders patterns, that kind of thing, trend line trading. And eventually, I just got to the point where I found a lot of things just didn't work, or at least they didn't work for me. I like testing things. So for example, if I see a doji bar, and a lot of people say, oh, that signals a reversal. Well, it might, but I like to test it. And so that's kind of where my trading evolved, is to, hey, if I can test it and prove that it works, in whatever instances, I can then incorporate it into a strategy. So once you do that, once you find some things, you can build a strategy around it and then test it, make sure it works, and then you can go and trade it in the markets, and you can automate it if you want and just have it trade for you all the time. And so that's kind of where I'm at now, where I have a bunch of different strategies. Some are on the same market, some are on different markets. And what they all have in common is they all execute to set rules, and then they're automated. And so they just take trades automatically. And so all I have to do really is just monitor and make sure that trades are being taken and that things are kind of lined up the way they should be.
I love it so much. I got to the point where, especially after that terrible experience, that we got lucky on, I was sitting in front of charts, and I tried other systems, on and off. Like I try something and then I'd get out. I try something and get out. I didn't like sitting in front of the screen. Like I'd get mad. I didn't like spending hours and hours. I'd get angry. I'd get emotional. Why isn't it moving? It's moving the wrong way. What am I going to do? So that learning curve, or I guess I should say, when I switched to robot trading, I loved it so much that trading for me really became enjoyable. If you ever seen the movie Moneyball, it's a story of a guy who put together a baseball team, but he never watched the games. And seeing that movie, love that movie. That's the way I am with my trading. I love trading so much. I love the research so much, but I don't actually want to be there when the trade's on. Just do it and give me the result, and I'll analyze it and move on. So I don't actually love screen time that much, but I love everything else that goes into it, similar to the main character in Moneyball. But the learning curve, get all the way back, the learning curve for automated systems is substantial. To do it from scratch like I did, where I don't program, I know some code now, but I knew nothing. Hiring programmers, finding a programmer, it's thousands and thousands of dollars. You try some harebrained idea, and it's like, this doesn't work, and now you got to pay more money to get that fixed. You can shortcut this, find a programmer you like, whether that's yourself, and find someone who's made systems and get a mentor or a coach. Obviously in athletics, coaching matters. That would have helped me. I think the learning curve could be much, much shorter if people can find someone they trust and just get started in the market. Like you said, don't sit around like I did studying so much. Find something you trust and get in the market. It doesn't have to be years.
A lot of the ideas you come up with aren't going to work. It's amazing. People think, hey, they come up with an idea and they expect it to work. Most ideas don't work, especially when you add in slippage and commission, trading costs. Most things end up losing money. So you got to try a lot of different things. What happens is a lot of people become wed to their ideas, meaning they think it should work, and so then they'll start forcing it. And the process I use, I ran into the same thing in my own trading. I used to force ideas. Oh, I've got to get this moving average with an RSI combination. It's got to work. Everybody tells me it should work, so I'm just not testing it right. And so I'd force it, add filters, add conditions, that kind of thing. And what ended up happening was I saw that, I could eventually force it to work, but when it came to real-time trading, those kind of things almost never worked. As I mentioned in the beginning, that's one of the people's biggest fears. I don't have ideas. And a lot of people think they have to come up with their own ideas, where they have to look at a chart, for example, and develop their own theory of the market, or come up with some radical new indicator. You don't have to do that. You can go out there. There's tons of things, whether it's on the internet, it's in books, magazines, trading forums. There's tons of things that people have done. Now, those can all be a starting point. That's the way I kind of look at it. I almost never take something I find in a book or magazine and just go with it and, start trading with it. What I'll do is I'll take it and I'll modify it, and I'll look at it and this kind of makes sense. Or maybe I do the opposite of what they're saying, and I kind of play around with it. But a lot of my core ideas come somewhere else, somewhere off the internet for example, and there's tons of things out there. And that's something I mentioned, Mark, is where I can, sometimes I give the background or, where I think the idea came from. But I say a lot of times, I don't know where the idea came from. It might have been me originally, but more than likely it was probably somewhere else, but I might have taken it and transformed it into something that I liked.
When we're making that $1,000 a day, let's take another trade. Like we're perfect or we're invulnerable. Now I'm 100% systems based. I don't make any of those decisions on my own. So lucky streak, I'm like, oh, good. Computer, way to go, software. You made another winning trade. And I don't get involved. Even automated trading, it takes years of practice, at least for me, to not get emotional on it. Because you still losing streak. I want to turn that baby off. But now winning streaks, lucky streaks, I just let it ride, and I know it's going to stop. But I just let the robot keep taking trades.
Biggest mistake that I see people doing with algos is just in how they backtest, first of all, because most trading software is so simple now that all you have to do is open up a chart, insert a strategy that you've either created or a canned strategy that comes with it, and immediately what it kind of pushes you to do is to optimize it, optimize those parameters. And people get caught up in the optimization part, and they think that optimizing is the way to go, and it's not. I mean, optimization is important to a point, and I think you can do it and improve what you're doing, but at the same time, all optimization really does is just curve fit the past, meaning you get a better back test. And a lot of people just keep trying and trying to improve a back test. I mean, I can tell you story after story of people who literally, after every losing trade they have, they go back to their system and figure out why it occurred and try to eliminate it. And so they add a little rule. Oh, today was a Tuesday and it was a full moon. I shouldn't have been going long today. That was dumb. So then they put a rule in, no full moon Tuesday trades. And the back test looks so much better. And people then think that back test is going to keep going forward. And that's not it at all. Building a better back test almost always leads to worse results. And for me, one of my big breakthroughs was realizing when a back test was good enough and resisting the urge to make it better. And I'll tell you what, that's a hard thing to do at first.
Tough one. Yeah.
Yeah, because you see it and you see a drawdown on your back test and you're like, oh, I don't really like that. I could get rid of that by doing some financial engineering, add some rules, filters, whatever. But realizing what's good and that you don't need it to be better, that's probably the biggest thing of all the mistakes I see people make. Creating a better back test is like pretty much number one, I would say.